Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I might point out that for those of you who want to learn a little bit more about me, we have brochures for our campaign committee outside the door. And I urge you to pick up a fistful of them and take them home to your neighbors and your communities and share the good word. As Joe mentioned, I've spent most of my professional career in the world of policy, not in government, but in public policy research centers, so-called think tanks, that come up with solutions to public policy problems. That includes a couple of decades at a major bipartisan policy research center in Washington, D.C. Worked with members of Congress from both sides of the aisle on policy issues. Our own Senator Simpson, former Senator Gore, on a number of issues. And I then helped to found a policy center in Jackson Hole, where I've been president for the last 8 years or so. I first came to Jackson many, many years ago to work as a summer dude wrangler, and kept coming back to work summer after summer until Wyoming got in my bones. And I ended up as foreman of one of the oldest and largest dude ranches in the valley, as Joe has mentioned. But I want to talk a little bit this morning first about leadership, because I think we here in Wyoming can show what it means to lead. And we can show what it means to lead on energy. 20 years ago, the United States Congress revised the Clean Air Act to include a cap and trade on sulfur dioxide emissions. And the results of that legislation were astounding. Reductions in sulfur dioxide emissions at 1/4 the original estimated cost, creating a market for low sulfur coal that became a bonanza for the coal industry in Wyoming. Folks, there shouldn't be a debate about cap and trade, which is in the president's legislation and pending legislation. It works. We here in Wyoming are perfectly positioned with our vast natural gas resources, our wind resources, and our underground storage resources for carbon dioxide to benefit from a cap and trade on carbon emissions. And we should be leading the way in showing how to create this next clean energy market of the future through the responsible development of these resources. Will it cost more? Of course it'll cost more. Everything worth having in this country has cost us more. Our national parks, our interstate highway system, those aren't the only costs. We've got to take a look at the long-term costs to our country and to our state if we don't make these investments in the future. Take the example of coal. Coal's not going to go away anytime in the near future. So in the meantime, we've got to clean it up, and we've got to sustain the coal industry here in Wyoming. For the last 8-10 years, I've been working with Wyoming and with China's largest coal-producing province to figure out how to reduce carbon emissions from coal. It's a huge global problem. But 30 or 40 years from now, there aren't going to be any coal-fired power plants that aren't equipped with carbon capture and storage capabilities. So it's in our interest to clean up that coal and to make sure that there are as many of those cleaner coal facilities as possible so as to reduce the impact, the global impact of those carbon emissions and sustain our coal industry here in Wyoming. Now, I've talked some about energy and spent a lot of time on it in the last 8 or 10 years, and some of you may think I'm broken record on that issue. There are other urgent needs, of course, here in our state, in our nation. Education, health. I've done a little work on those issues as well, and I'm looking forward to sinking my teeth into them when I get to the United States Congress on education